To tell you the whole truth, I just hit myself in the face with this sketchbook. It genuinely hurt. I don't know how I managed to do that. Hi there, today I'm gonna be showing you my 100-day drawing challenge from 2018. So last year in September, I decided that I wanted to embark on a drawing challenge where I drew something every day for 100 days. Now, 100 days is quite a long time, and this was tough, genuinely. Just a little bit of a spoiler alert, I didn't complete every page for the 100 days, and I'll kind of explain why as I go along, but I did complete a huge chunk of this challenge, and I'm pretty proud of myself, to be honest, even though I didn't complete absolutely everything. So, from the cover here, it says 100-day drawing challenge, 15th of September to the 23rd of December 2018. And, as kind of a announcement, I suppose, I'm going to be doing this drawing challenge again this year. I have in fact already started it, because this is being filmed after the 15th of September, and I decided to start it on the same day. So yeah, I've already started this challenge for 2019, and I am filming it. It's just that I'm going to be releasing it in increments, probably weekly, so look forward to week 1 of my 2019 100-day drawing challenge that'll be coming very soon. So in this first video, I'm just going to be showing you prompts 1 to 50 because I feel like this video would be so exceptionally long if I showed you 1 to 100. So part 1 and part 2 will have 50 prompts each, so in this video we'll be seeing prompts 1 to 50. So let's just jump in. I bought this sketchbook that has 100 pages so that I could do this challenge specifically, and I wrote each prompt on each page. I wrote this prompt list myself about a week before the 15th when I was due to start, because I couldn't really find a prompt list online that I liked particularly. So I wrote my own, just because I knew then that I wouldn't feel discouraged from giving up the challenge because a prompt came up that I didn't know how to work with. It just made it easier for me. So prompt number 1 on the 15th of September was, "A new challenge awaits." So I drew something kind of adventurous looking. It looks as though this was coloured with coloured pencils, which is something I don't work with particularly often, but it's interesting. And the background I think is painted with probably watercolours. So we just have this character here standing, looking very, I don't know, determined, looking off into the distance. And I guess that's in reference to a new challenge, whether it be this 100 days of drawing or whether it be embarking on a physical challenge. But yeah, I don't hate this as a drawing. I think it was really good to do something a bit different right off the bat to start off the challenge. I don't normally draw backgrounds, so it's interesting that I took that step and really was trying my best with this challenge to work outside my comfort zone, I suppose. Yeah, interesting. This second one, the prompt was redraw something old from your Instagram. So this is a drawing that I did digitally maybe a year previously to this, and I redrew it. I don't like this. I hate it. I think that this is really ugly. The proportions are really weird. I don't know. I'm not even really sure if it's better than the one that I was trying to redraw. I'll throw that up on the screen for you. It's definitely different. I believe that the digital version of this was like a chibi character, and then I decided to do it with more sort of quote-unquote realistic proportions. I'm not super keen on this, if I'm honest. I don't hate the hair, I suppose, but I don't know, it's the proportions, and there's like no shading as well. It's very flat. I tried. Prompt number 3 was fruit. I still really like this. I have a lot of issues with the way that it's drawn. Like, the proportions are weird. I feel like her head is really big, and that's actually something that I noticed as I started to embark on this challenge, was that I used to draw heads really big. It's still a problem that I have now, but I've fixed it a lot more than back when I was drawing this. It's still something that I'm constantly working on because for some reason I naturally want to draw heads like too big. But it's something that I worked on throughout this challenge, and yeah, I feel like the proportions in this are really weird, and there's some like silly errors and mistakes in the line art and stuff that you can see, and the colouring is a little bit strange. I feel like maybe I just didn't have enough range of colour to make this work properly, but like this green could have been way brighter, the yellow could have been way brighter, the skin is shaded with a weird colour. But overall I don't hate this. I think it's really cute actually, the themes and the thought that went into it, and I really like how many little fruits I was able to fit in, and the leaves on her head I feel like is a creative touch. So I like this as an idea, but it just wasn't executed particularly well. Prompt number 4 was nature, and I don't hate this. I think it was painted, which again is interesting because I don't normally work with paint. I'm predominantly just work with markers. I feel like maybe I didn't commit to this entirely. Like I did these little stalks, like these little tiny sprouts coming out of her shoulders, but then didn't do it anywhere else. So it just kind of looks like she has like 3 like weird leaves on her shoulders, and then she has these 2 leaves in the hair, but not more than that. I do like the little touches like the flowers in the eyes, and overall I don't hate this. I feel like it could have been pushed further. Like there could have been even more to this to make this like a nature themed character. But I do like the fact that I tried something a bit different. She's sitting on a tree branch, which is nice because I normally just draw people standing front and center, so it's good to see that I was practicing a lot of different sort of poses and things. The trees in the background do look like a 5-year-old drew them, but like I said, backgrounds are not my forte, so that's probably why. Prompt number 5 was bouquet. I really like this as an idea. Again, it's that issue of I feel like I just wasn't skilled enough at the time to execute it in the way that I was imagining it. But I do like this as an idea. So she's holding this kind of bouquet of flowers. I hope I'm saying that word right. I'm really bad at pronunciation on certain words. Bouquet? Is it bouquet or bouquet or... I'm gonna say bouquet. I like that I was starting to really think about how I was characterizing these people that I was drawing. I feel like during this 100-day challenge, I really put effort into making different characters look different. So I changed her facial features and her skin colour according to the prompt, and it was the same thing with this nature theme, I suppose. Giving her like the green hands and the flowers in her eyes, so I was actually changing how the character looked depending on the prompt. This one I didn't do such a good job. But you'll see that I start to try and push that even more as we go along, and that's something that I try and do even more now. So over the past year, that's something that I've been practicing. So yeah, there's not a lot really to say about this. I like the colour choice. I could have spent a lot more time being more detailed and drawing each of these flowers individually, because it does look like I just kind of swirled them around. And that was probably just due to not having a lot of time to draw, because obviously I had to finish a complete piece every day. So it was a little bit difficult to keep up sometimes. Prompt number 6 was ice cream. I like this. It's cute. Again, I was really trying to make this character fit with the theme, so her hair is actually ice cream, which I think is a cute touch. And I made her face a lot rounder and her features a lot rounder than the past couple. So you can see even there I was trying to start this idea of really theming the characters according to the prompt. Other than that, I don't think that this is super interesting. It is cute. I tried to use all pastel colours. There isn't a lot of shading or definition going on, so it does look very flat, but again, that was probably just due to not having a lot of time to draw. Prompt 7 was primary colours. I don't like this. I just don't like the way it was drawn and the proportions. I don't know, I think it's kind of boring that I just took the prompt primary colours and did it on her dress. It's just not super inspired, there's not a lot going on, and I also feel like the execution was bad. That age-old idea of if you're gonna do something unimaginative, at least do it well, and I feel like I didn't achieve that here. Yeah, I just don't love this. It's not great. Prompt number 8 was a new D&D character. I was really getting into Dungeons and Dragons at the time. I don't play myself, but I watch streams of people playing on YouTube and stuff. So I'm not super sure how to design a character for D&D properly, but I had fun drawing this little cute sort of witchy character, I guess. This was a lot of fun. I like drawing all the little tiny objects that this character carries around in her little bag. I just think it's cute. I like it. Prompt number 9 was theatre. I hate this. I don't want to talk about it. I tried to use paint again and it's just really messy and bad, and I don't know why I chose these colours because I feel like they look kind of gross together, like this bright green and this bright red and bright yellow, and ugh, I don't know, I'm not into this one. Not into it, don't like it. Moving on. Prompt number 10 was beach, and I decided instead of just drawing a character on the beach, I would draw a character who is a beach. So her dress is like made of sand and her hair is made of water, and she's got these shells like stuck into her body, I guess. And she's actually like melting into the ground a little. I feel like again this could have been executed a lot better. It doesn't look that great, and I feel like if you just looked at this without my explanation, you might not be able to tell what on earth it's supposed to be. Again, I'm not great at painting. I don't know why I chose paint for so many of these. I think it was just because at the time my markers were all not working. I don't know. I really like this as a concept, but not executed well. Prompt number 11 is earth, and I remember that the next 4 are the 4 elements, starting with earth. So I quite like this. I don't love it because I feel like you can't quite tell what's going on. Like this looks just a little bit messy in places, but she's kind of got these like vines winding around, and I just kind of wish I'd maybe made it a bit more defined, but I don't hate this. I feel like the proportions on the character look pretty good. Like there's stuff I would do differently now, but considering the examples we've already seen on how my proportions were at the time, this really isn't a bad effort. Again, there's not a whole lot of shading going on. I guess I just wasn't shading things, apparently. At the time, everything was flat coloured. She's wearing leaves and she's controlling, like, the earth, like, the ground's cracked and she's got these vines. Again, I feel like I could have pushed it further and actually made her character design more in line with the prompt, but anyway. So, prompt number 12 was air. Again, one of the elements. I like this one a lot better because I feel like I put a little bit more thought into it, and I also like the simplicity of this one. Some of them I feel like were really simple just because I didn't have a lot of time, but this one I feel like is simple deliberately because it's an air theme, and I like the swirly hair and the designs and the way that I lined these. I think it's really cute. I don't know, I like this one. Next is water. I hate this one. This is probably the worst out of the 4 of them, just because it's not drawn well. I can tell that this is rushed, and even though my art wasn't great at the time, this is exceptionally bad. I don't like this. I feel like the actual water itself isn't too bad of an effort, considering that's something that I had no idea how to draw at the time. I had to just kind of come up with it on the spot. But I feel like her character design is just not very good. I think I gave her short hair just because that beach theme had the long flowing water hair, but I would have liked to see it on this character. And I feel like the dress is just boring and not drawn well, and the hands are bad and doesn't really make sense. I don't like this one. Oh well. And fire. This one's better. I don't hate this. I feel like the proportions are a bit weird. Her arms are definitely too long. But I like the fact, again, that I changed her facial features based on the prompt. So I gave her, like, a stronger jawline, and I made her eyebrows, like, straighter. Because I think on the other 3 I did just a normal sort of arched brow. But on this one I actually thought about what I was doing, and I gave her eye makeup to make her eyes pointier. And I like the fact that I was at least starting to think about it. I just wish that I'd pushed it further with all 4 of these. I feel like I really could have changed their facial features and their body and their proportions to really match the prompt and really make them stand out from one another. Prompt number 15 was rainy and cloudy. This is really boring looking in my opinion, and it's not drawn well. I tried to do it deliberately, like the colouring is deliberately scribbled in an attempt to look artistic, because I didn't have a lot of time to draw on this day. I didn't know what to do for this prompt, so I did this. It's just a little boring. Number 16 was comic book hero. I like this as a prompt. I like using these colours. I feel like the colour choice was pretty good for this prompt. I tried to do something a bit different by colouring it with like more of a ballpoint pen rather than a marker. Slowly colouring it in so that you can see each of the lines and kind of cross-hatching in the background and stuff. Because that, I suppose, was supposed to look more comic book-like. I don't know. And the proportions are weird. Her arms are definitely too long, but anyway. Prompt number 17 was alien. This one, I remember I did the proportions too long deliberately because this is supposed to be an alien character. I really made her torso a lot longer, her legs and her arms a lot longer. I hate the background. I just kind of wish I hadn't put a background on it. I know I was trying to make these concise drawings, I suppose, but it really didn't need a background if all I could provide was this badly painted, patchy background, you know what I mean? I'd rather there wasn't something there than something bad there. I do like these planets. I've done this effect a few times where I mix my glitter markers. And I don't hate this as a design. There's parts of it that I don't like, and I feel like the colouring isn't great. It's a little bit boring. Again, just wish I'd pushed it even further. Prompt number 18 was contrast. So I tried to use contrasting colours here and there and everywhere. I don't know, I feel like this didn't quite work out properly, and also it's a little bit boring. It's just kind of a person standing. I don't love this, it's pretty boring. Ooh, prompt number 19 was shuffle some music and draw something inspired by the first song. So this is inspired by the song that I shuffled to. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this without going into a lot of detail explaining what song it is, because it's probably a song that most of you might not have heard of. It's not the most popular song by this artist even. Anyway, maybe I'll talk about that another time if anyone's actually interested. Prompt number 20 was Mermaid. I've drawn a lot of mermaids. Like a lot of mermaids. But this one's one of my favourites. It's kind of a boring drawing in that it's not shaded really at all. So there's absolutely no like definition or value or anything here. It's very flat. But I do like the way that it's drawn, and I do like my colour choice. I think this is really pretty. I really like this as a skin colour, this kind of peachy pink, and I like it combined with this blue for the hair and tail. I like that I put a little bit of extra detail in here because I never know what to do for the top half of the mermaid. I mean, there's lots of different options. You can leave them naked if you want. That's very pretty if you're a good artist. You can give them just like normal people clothes or like a bikini or something, I guess. Or you can give them something ornate, like made of shells or whatever. But I never know what to do and I can never decide. So I like this as a design because I've drawn so many mermaids and on so many occasions hated what I've ended up making them wear. But I quite like this. It's not the best drawing in the world, but I do like it as a concept. Number 21 was landscape. I'm terrible at landscapes. Terrible. Absolutely. This is the best I could do. It's not even finished. It's like half done. I'm sure you probably can't even tell what's going on here. It's very faint. Yeah, I hate this. I'm really bad at landscapes. I threw this prompt in because I knew that I needed practice, and I thought, when I was writing the prompt list, future me is going to have to draw a landscape. And then I got to this prompt and was like, oh no, please no. But I attempted it and it failed. I definitely need more practice at landscapes. Number 22 is royalty. This is interesting. I didn't want to use red, so I used purple. I always think that this sort of deep purple colour. Reminds me of like royalty. I do like this as a drawing. It isn't great and it wasn't executed great, and I think that I could have probably coloured this a lot better. But I don't hate it. I like that I attempted a profile here, like a side view. I gave her this cute crown, which is probably quite heavily inspired by like the British royal family, I suppose. Prompt number 23 was bugs and beetles. I was so excited for this prompt and I feel like I didn't pull it off. This is just a bad drawing. It's not good, it doesn't look good. The proportions are bad, the line art is bad. The colour choice is fine, I think, for this particular prompt. I feel like this green works really well. I just wish maybe I'd drawn all of the beetles a lot brighter than the character. I do like the added touch of giving the little tiny antennas. That's cute. But it's just not drawn well. I feel like maybe I just rushed this. I didn't have a lot of time. You run the risk of that happening with a 100-day drawing challenge, that there are just going to be some days that you don't have time to finish something, and then you end up getting bad artwork. Prompt number 24 was disco, and I really like this. I don't know whether I'm just crazy, but I really like this. So I don't know whether you can tell, but the coloured squares in the background are supposed to be the light reflecting off of the little disco ball earrings, which are the funkiest thing I've ever seen. I like these glasses too. I like this. I like the colour choice. The one thing I don't like is the proportions, or I suppose the anatomy from this point down. The legs look a little weird. I feel like from there upwards it looks really cool, but I really had a fun time drawing this. I had this idea in my head of doing all these light reflections, and I feel like I gave it the absolute best go I could have possibly given it. Considering this wasn't digital, I feel like doing light effects is always easier digitally than it is traditionally, but I gave it a good go. Prompt number 25 was an interesting one. Use a random number generator twice and mix those two prompts together. So I put 1 to 100 into a random number generator and then generated two numbers, and then I had to mix those two prompts together. So I did that on the day and I got number 36 and number 3. So spoiler alert for number 36, it's going to be spring, and we've already seen that number 3 is fruit. So I mixed spring and fruit together and got this character. So I themed it around strawberries, which I believe is a spring fruit, and then gave her some flowers, this little arrangement of fruit in her and flowers in her hair. I don't hate this. The one thing that I really don't like is I attempted to shade it in a weird way. I wanted to do some different shading because I felt like in the past my shading had all been either non-existent or very flat looking. So I tried to shade the blue with pink, which I feel like was a bad idea. I don't know why I decided to use pink to shade blue. I don't know. But it really didn't work, and I feel like that kind of ruins this as an image. But other than that, I don't hate it. I like that I was at least trying to be adventurous, drawing a different pose. Again, it's not executed the absolute best, but I like it anyway. Prompt number 26 was magical, and I took this opportunity to just draw kind of a generic magical girl, I suppose. Again, the execution of this is the worst part. This wouldn't be the most interesting drawing, even if it had been executed well, but it would have been a hell of a lot better. I used my glitter pens to do this kind of magic-y effect, which you'll see a lot throughout this because I absolutely love doing it. And I like the hairstyle with the hearts, and it's kind of tied up. I just feel like this could have been executed so much better. It's really not great. Anyway. Prompt number 27 was honey. I really like this. I really like it. I really like it. I didn't want to draw a character like based on honey themselves, like with a honey dress or like a bee character or anything like that, because I'd done that in the past, and I'll try and throw that up on the screen for you if I can find it. But because I'd already done that in the past, I didn't want to do that exact same thing again. So instead I tried to come up with something a little bit different to do. So I drew this character, and I think it's cute. I like the way this is drawn too. I feel like the actual artwork itself really isn't that bad. The hands look okay to me. The proportions look okay to me too. I I attempted a side view again, and I feel like it's really not that bad, considering side views, like profiles of characters, are usually really difficult to draw. And then the honey is here in the basket in the little jars. And I don't know, I just like the emotion that this gives, just that this character is like so in love with these little bees. The background leaves much to be desired. I feel like, again, like if I'm gonna put a background on a drawing, it needs to be good, or at least thought out a little bit more. I do a lot of simple backgrounds now, but I do at least take the time to think about how it's going to frame the character. And I feel like this is just kind of haphazardly thrown on there. Prompt number 28 was instrument. I like this. It's not the best, like again, I must not have had a lot of time to draw or something, because I can tell that parts of it are rushed. And this side view definitely doesn't look as good as the previous one, but I really like the concept and the colours. This violin is horribly drawn, but I don't really blame myself because I hadn't ever drawn a violin before, so I feel like it's a good attempt. But yeah, I chose violin. I also gave her these piano keys on her dress, which I think is really cute. And use this red. I really like this red colour for this prompt because I feel like it really goes well with the violin colour and the hair colour and the gold, and I feel like all the colours work really nice together. I don't know why she isn't centred. I can't decide actually whether I like it better that she's over there, because then the violin is front and centre. Yeah, anyway, I quite like this. It isn't the most interesting, but I think I like that I at least thought about a colour palette for it, and I gave it a certain feel. Anyway, prompt number 29 was feathers, and I took this opportunity to go back to my roots of girls and birds. I'm not sure whether I've even talked about this before on this YouTube channel, but I went through a really big phase maybe 2 to 3 years ago where I would all the time just draw girls and birds. Because for some reason I'm obsessed with the idea of like beautiful ladies holding big like hawks and stuff. I don't know what it is. It's like a weird thing that I'm into, but I like drawing it. It's unfortunate that I'm really bad at drawing feathers. I've drawn much better girls and birds than this. Much better. I like that I was at least trying something new. I think making the character like monochrome with just greys and then making the bird a really bright blue was a good idea, but bad in execution. This doesn't look great, but I know where I was coming from. Prompt number 30 was armour. I have never drawn armour before, I don't think. This is the only time. I'm trying to think back whether I've drawn it before. I think I've drawn little bits of armour before. I did look up a reference, but then I also gave it a bit more of a fantasy influence because the references I was looking at were very realistic. They were like old war armour, you know, like stuff that was very practical. So I made this a little bit with a fantasy influence to give it a bit more flair for the drawing, as opposed to it being like very anatomically correct and stuff like that. So I attempted something new. I obviously wasn't very practiced at drawing this kind of thing, but it was interesting. I do feel like it's kind of a boring image to look at because I was focusing so much on making the armor look okay rather than making the character look dynamic. I did also colour it with metallic marker. I don't know whether you can see that. You might be able to see a little bit of the shininess. It is metallic, which again doesn't leave much to be shaded because the metallic marker can't really be shaded on top of. It's okay. I admire that I gave it a good go. Prompt number 31 was alpaca, and I don't think I ever finished this. I drew this cute little cartoony alpaca, and then I tried my best to draw a realistic one from a reference, and it looks really bad. I'm not good at realistic, especially when it comes to animals. But animals are just a no. I can't draw animals. Cartoon or realistic or otherwise, I cannot draw animals. It's something that it's a huge weak spot, but I tried. Yeah, this is one that I remember even now because I like it so much. This was number 32, Tropical. I really like this. There are some mistakes, and I also feel like it would have looked better if I'd have executed certain parts of it better, like given it a lot more shading, a lot more definition, making the background look a bit better. I feel like I'll give it a pass because on this very specific occasion, the patchiness of the watercolour in the background looks okay because it's supposed to be a sky. And then I coloured the water with this bright blue. I really wanted to use bright blue, bright yellow, bright pink for that kind of cyan, magenta and yellow kind of thing. She has this cute watermelon slice and a beach ball. I don't hate the hand. That's kind of a difficult pose to draw, but I don't hate it. I like it, it's cute. I feel like it's very summery, and I feel like it achieves the tropical prompt. Again, it could have been even brighter, like I could have pushed it further, but I do feel like part of that is due to the paper that I was drawing on, because this paper isn't the most fantastic quality in the world. I gave it a good go, and I still like this drawing to this day. So that's something to commend it for. I like this one too. This is number 33, mushrooms. I wanted to draw something foresty with a lot of mushrooms. So I drew these mushrooms on the tree and little mushrooms on the ground and on this character, and she's like made of like moss, and it's cute, and it's, I don't know, I like it. I tried to do something artistic with the background, just drawing these trees as like thin stripes of colour. I'm not sure whether that particularly worked, but I like this overall as a drawing. I like everything in the foreground. Number 34 was Ballet. Again, this was a difficult pose, but I'm glad that I at least tried it, you know? Out of my comfort zone. The perspective isn't that bad, considering I know how bad I am with perspective, especially on legs. But I feel like it's not that bad. I gave it a good go. As an image, this still looks pretty flat. Like, there's hardly any shading at all going on. I think, in fact, none. I don't think there is any shading. Again, that was probably just due to time restraints. And I probably spent a lot of time getting the proportions looking okay too, so that probably cut into a lot of my time. But yeah, I don't hate this. I actually think it's really cute. Okay. Number 35 was Magma. I like this as a concept. I wanted to draw a magma person, so it's all this like rock, and then there's all the little bright orange lines going through, and I think her head is supposed to be like a volcano. It's pretty cute. I don't hate this. I think as a concept it's good. I like these little lines going down from the eyes too. It's almost creepy. It's like, it's quite cool actually. I don't hate this. Number 36 was Spring, and again, like my Elements series, this is the 4 seasons, starting with Spring. So I quite like this. I attempted a full image for some reason. I don't know why with this one I decided to do a full page. But again, like I said, I can't draw animals. So I apologise for how bad these rabbits and this bird looks. They don't look good. But again, using my glitter pens to draw this kind of magical little thing. So for Spring, I decided to theme it around like tulips. So I did these tulips in the background. I think her head is supposed to resemble a tulip in a way, these petals coming up. Her skin is pink. She has flowers everywhere. Her outfit is leaves. I think it works for the prompt. Again, hardly any definition. There is a little bit of shading, but it's certainly not dark enough or prominent enough. I certainly would go in and make it a lot better nowadays. Number 37 is Summer. I'm not sure I'm keen on this one. I think the background was just really lazy, and I think, like I said earlier, if I'm gonna put a background on something, make sure it's good, because I don't like this background at all. The character is fine. I feel like the outfit leaves a lot to be desired, but I don't hate the fact that I gave her this bright blue hair and bright yellow eyes. I tried to theme it around, I don't know, bright colours, I guess. And also after I did that tropical theme, which was very like beach themed, and I guess this is kind of summery, I then didn't know what to do that would be hugely different from that. Anyway, this is number 38, Autumn. I like this a lot better. I like autumn themed stuff. I got the opportunity to use a lot of browns and oranges. I like drawing leaves. This was nice. I gave her this like long hair with like little twigs and little leaves stuck in it, and she has this scarf that's winding around and like turning into leaves. I like the little freckles on her face too. I like this one a lot. And number 39 was winter. I like this one too. It's really disappointing that the summer one didn't turn out very well. Oh, I wish it was better. I just couldn't think what to do for summer. Anyway, winter, I quite like this one. Again, I was really trying to do that thing of making the character's face and proportions relative to the theme. So I gave her a lot pointier features because it's supposed to be winter. And I like her hair too. It's a little bit sort of haphazard, but I like it. And I gave her these, like, each one of these has magical stuff going on around their hands, but she's creating like snow with this hand and then ice with this hand, so I like the contrast of this being very soft and this being very sharp. I like it. And she's got little icicles coming out of her arms. That can't be comfortable. Prompt number 40 was bird, and I took this opportunity to draw some birds. I love toucans, so I drew a toucan. This, I think, is supposed to be... What are you supposed to be? A budgerigar? Or a parrot? Or a parakeet? Anyway, I like this. I like this toucan. Sometimes I like to just draw realistic birds to get away from drawing cartoon people. That's a weird statement that I never thought I would say. I'd love to show you my other sketchbook, actually, that has loads of drawings of ravens and stuff. I really like drawing ravens. Anyway, prompt number 41 was ram horns. I wanted to draw something sheep-themed. I don't know why. And then when I got to this prompt, it was on a day where I was feeling wholly uninspired. So this ended up not being particularly interesting to look at. I tried, but it came at a bad time. Prompt number 42 was autumn leaves. So I already did that autumn prompt, but then I wanted to do some prompts that were themed around the actual time of year that I was drawing them. So you'll see, because this took place between September 15th and December 23rd, I think we're going to start entering all the Halloween prompts now. So I started off with autumn leaves, and I don't hate this, it's pretty simple, but I just drew this cute character who's like wearing a big coat and scarf, and there's leaves falling, and there's no definition in the background. I think these were supposed to be piles of leaves and stuff going into the distance, but I just didn't have time to work on it, unfortunately. Number 43 is vampire. Yeah, I feel like I could have done a lot more with this. I feel like it looks not that great. I draw vampires a lot. I feel like we're flipping through this book and I'm saying I draw people a lot. I draw girls and birds a lot. I draw vampires a lot. I draw this a lot. I draw that a lot. I draw a lot of stuff a lot. I draw a lot. That's really the takeaway from this. I feel like the colours are a bit haphazard. I don't know why I gave her this grey cape. I feel like it would look better without that because it'd make the silhouette a lot clearer, and then we would have this dark red and the very pale white skin as a contrast, and then the black hair. I almost feel like maybe if I'd given her longer black hair, maybe to here or something like that. But the cape ruins it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Why does she have a mirror? Can vampires not see their reflections? Why would she have a mirror? Seems like an odd touch. I think I just wanted to hold something, because sometimes you draw someone and you kind of want to give that contrast of one arm up, one arm down, but then it's like, why is her arm up? Should I have her holding something? Anyway. Number 44 was ghosts. Again, you can probably tell this was pretty uninspired. I don't think I had a lot of time to draw on this particular day, so I scribbled something down. And to be honest, I don't hate it. It's kind of funny. I love the little expressions on these guys in the background. I think it's cute. It's obviously not a great art piece, but it makes me smile. Number 45 was Pumpkin Queen. I was so excited for this prompt. I feel like I messed up her face, but other than that, I like it. I like the hairstyle and the fact that her hairstyle is a pumpkin. Again, swirly, glittery magic, because I can't go 5 seconds without using my glitter pens to draw something magical. And I looked up some references for the pumpkins, and I feel like I got them looking okay. The colouring isn't the best. I feel like I really tried with this character design. I like the fact that I gave her the green eyelashes and the orange eyes to relate to the pumpkin theme, and the sleeves too. And this little button here is a pumpkin, and I like the colours, so I don't hate this overall. It's not drawn very well, but I feel like I definitely had a distinct concept and I ran with it. So I'm proud of myself for that. Number 46 is eyeballs. Again, these are all on the run up to Halloween, so I was drawing a lot of creepy stuff. Or I guess cute creepy stuff, because I'm not great at drawing actually creepy stuff. I don't know what I was going for with this. I remember having this idea of wanting to do somebody with like an eye in their forehead and also an eye in their stomach, because I thought that it would be kind of creepy and weird and strange. It's just weird. It's just weird. And it's not coloured very well either. I feel like it looks really patchy, so even then, whatever I was going for, it wasn't executed well. And number 47 was Halloween. So I'd drawn so many sort of creepy things and like monsters and stuff on the run up to Halloween. So I'd done vampire, ghosts, pumpkins, eyeballs. So then for the actual Halloween day, I wanted to draw something that was kind of like a realistic Halloween, which is just kids dressed up and getting sweets. So I drew this little kid who's dressed as a bat with the little bat ears and little bat wings and a little bucket full of stuff. So as a drawing, I feel like this is really quite uninspired and quite boring because there isn't a lot going on, and I feel like these are kind of haphazardly placed, and if I was gonna do these two little elements, why isn't there something in the other corners or something else around, or I could have done little sweets in the background. I just feel like it's a little bit simple and there's not a lot of shading going on. I don't dislike it, but it's not great. Number 48 was pose study. So I decided that one of the prompts should be to actually work on my anatomy a little bit. These aren't fantastic, but they're not that bad, and I'm glad that I took the time to do a little bit of practice. Number 49 is sunset. I don't hate this. I quite like the character. The background looks really wrinkled because I think I painted it and it got a little bit too wet, so the page was really struggling. I also feel like this grass in the background, again, I've said this so many times in this video, if you're going to draw a background, make sure it's executed well. I know that I probably needed a background to make this prompt work, considering it's sunset. I kind of needed to draw a sunset, but these colours aren't really blended very well, and I do like the character. I feel like I blended the colours so much better in her hair than I did in the background. I don't know why, but I like the idea of it. Giving her the really long hair that's all the different like colours of the sunset. It's kind of cute. Prompt number 50, so we're halfway through, is dandelions. So I drew all these little dandelions and she's holding like a dead dandelion and all the little seeds are flying away. It's kind of cute. I think my blue marker was running out, which is why I didn't colour the entirety of the sky, but it does kind of look deliberate. If you squint and maybe turn your head a little bit, it looks artistic. Pretty much no shading going on here. I don't know why none of these are shaded. I could have took 5 extra minutes to throw some coloured pencil around the character and it probably would have made the image pop so much more for a lot of these. And that's certainly something that I'm going to be working on this year. Making sure that the shading is good so that the characters are all defined very well. I feel like I could have worked a lot more with the composition of this, because to have a character sitting and the seeds blowing away in the wind, it's not a bad concept overall. I just feel like there's so much more I could have done with the way that it looks, like my colour choice, the composition, the anatomy, everything could have made this so much better, you know what I mean? Anyway. So that's it for this video. My next video will hopefully be out tomorrow with the rest of the prompts, number 51 to 100, or I suppose 51 to about 95, because I think the last 5 I didn't end up completing, but we'll see that in the next video. I'm really excited to show you some of the drawings that are still left, because I like some of them very much. But that's it for now, because I didn't want this video to be crazy long, and it already is pretty long, even though I've only done half of these. Thank you so much if you watched this far, and goodbye.